As an interesting start today, Connor, if you've got Wizen's character sheet pulled up, I need you to start by giving me either a persuasion check or a performance check of your choosing.
Let's see. Let's see if it works.
Fingers crossed.
Like I stated earlier, my performance heavily outweighs my persuasion, so let's go with that. First roll is an 18 on my performance.
All right. Next, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw. Alrighty. Let's see here. A 2.
All right. Probably won't cut it on that one. Next, I want you to give me an insight check.
Oh, it's coming.
Don't you worry.
A 13.
And lastly, I want you to give me an investigation check.
Nine.
All right. So, with the conviction of Gideon Rook, the murders of Kylan Frosk and Aiden Moore seem to have been solved, but more questions bubbled up throughout our hero's investigation. The attempted murder of Auric Clyburn, a potion crafter of the Mid-Ward, as well as the cryptic testimony of Hans Bergen, one of the 3 people our heroes were warned about by the northern emissary, Leif. It's a very odd feeling roaming around Silver Rock. Not much has happened since the conviction of Gideon Rook, who now sits in the same extra secure prison that lies beneath the Kylum Diaboli, where Theradoc Firefang sits at its most secure section. Asmo, you set up people to keep tracks on Clyburn's whimsy, to see if anybody would come to pick up that extra little parcel of alchemist's fire, which was eventually discovered in his cellar. But thus far, nobody has come to claim it. Leads are starting to dry up, and your prisoner Hans has been less than willing to cooperate with any form of interrogation at the moment, and is slowly but surely starting to gain support from some people around town for potential false imprisonment, as now there is technically nothing to really hold him for, as the investigation that he was brought in for is currently solved. Wolfgang, a lot of this weighs heavily on your head as the boy Gideon Rook sits in prison, awaiting judgment. The people of the town, for the most part, wish to show mercy, just leaving him in prison, but there is a very strong vocal minority who wishes to see capital punishment placed upon the boy, the old way, at the stake. Denier, you hear these words every now and again. They come brushing through the school as well, even amongst some of your own students. They whisper it in hushed tones, but that sentiment resides throughout town. In every nook and cranny, in any and every position within the town, there are those that hold that feeling. Nara, you've been journeying down in an attempt to find young Aiden's head. Would you have jumped straight into the maw from the side, or would you have traveled down through the tunnels, continuing to map them and trying to find more ways by which the maw itself could be accessed through the Underdark?
Probably mapping.
All right, I want you to give me a survival check with advantage, as you have been studying these caves for years now, 5 years now.
Okay, you said survival with advantage.
With advantage.
18.
For the days that you've been traveling down, you've found yourself, you know, like the shortcuts that lead you down certain crevices, certain areas that are blocked off, and certain massive cave sections where you know there are multiple pathways. The tunnels themselves continue to go deeper and deeper and deeper. And on this day, you believe you finally found it as you walk into a massive you feel like kind of wind blowing towards you down one of these corridors, something that you're not used to in the caves unless there is some opening somewhere. And these gusts can get pretty heavy at times as you're traveling down this tunnel. Let me find my ambiance and combine that with where's my wind? I know I have wind. As you continue down this darkened path, yeah, it looks like half of my stuff just got weirdly rearranged. There we go.
What? Oh,
yeah,
shit.
I don't know.
What the fuck's going on today?
I don't know. Roll 20.
I'm scared to go to the bathroom now.
Yeah, I think Roll20 just had a random server reset or something. But as you travel down the corridor, which seems to open into a much wider fissure, you find yourself in what could be seen as a massive cavern, but even with your exceptional dark vision, the space itself seems to go on for quite a while. And as you look behind you upon leaving the corridor, you see what is essentially a cliff face. You believe you have found your way into the maw from these caves.
Sweet.
The ground beneath your feet is less hard and rocky than it had been in the caves as you step further out into this space. A little mushier, almost muddy. Maybe clay in consistency? But it's hard to tell through your boots.
Does it impede my walking? Is it slowing me down?
Not horrendously. Like, it gives a little extra resistance, but not enough to be considered difficult terrain.
Pixie stick.
Yeah. Keep your boots clean. I feel you. You float above the muddy sediment. Glancing all around you, sure enough, this seems to go on for a while. Give me a perception check.
Okay. 17.
You look up. The cavern wall stretches high, high, high up. And at the very edge of your vision, you see just the faintest hint of like a blue line. It's almost like a horizon-like peak at the sky from so very deep, deep down Earth's, like this crust of the Earth.
Dang.
You remember from experience in the future that even if you were to fly at full speed, it would take you hours to reach the top. And thus far,
I do recall.
yeah, and thus far down in traveling through the caves, you've sustained yourself on the rations that you packed, as well as what cave fauna and flora you could scrounge up on your way down. Your belly currently full of bat and rodent.
Shit.
Bat.
Bat! As you drift along the edge of the canyon, the massive canyon, looking for the discarded head of Aiden Moore, give me another survival check.
With advantage, or?
I guess the head's not going anywhere, but it is a large space to look, is the issue. So, yeah, sure, with advantage. You were given kind of a...
8.
You were given kind of a general distance from the wall that you'd find the head. But at the moment, you're not entirely sure exactly where, in relationship to the town, you came out. Whether you're on the eastern edge of the town, the western edge of the town, or somewhere in between. Or even if you're beyond the boundaries of the town of Silver Rock, city of Silver Rock entirely. So you continue scouring the area looking for this head. With an 8, it takes you probably about like 3 or 4 hours to find it.
Okay.
At this point, your patience is probably running a little thin. You're honestly probably starting to feel a little tired from...
Traversing.
Yeah. But finally, you have mapped a way to the bottom of the maw from Silver Rock itself.
Oh boy. Would I be able to take a rest and search again, knowing that I'm tired and maybe have tired brain?
Yeah, you could either set up like a small campfire down here, or even just kind of like hunker down somewhere and just take a short rest.
Probably just hunker down for a short rest. Wouldn't want to make a fire and make herself that obvious.
Yeah, make a spectacle of yourself.
Yeah, no.
Fair. You never know what might be lurking down here.
I don't.
Yes, you're very much able to take a short rest, kind of kick off your feet for a bit, stretch out, and just look up at the sky. Based on the shade of blue, it must be sometime around noonish, maybe?
You would also be listening very intently and feeling the vibrations from the floor to be mindful.
Go ahead and give me a perception check for that, then.
28.
28's pretty good. As you keep your eyes about you, keep just kind of getting a good sensation for any vibrations that might be coming, you do appear to be alone.
Then she will take a short rest and enjoy some peace.
You enjoy the last of your above-world rations, giving yourself a nice treat for a job well done, having discovered the head of Aiden Moore, which, upon lifting out of the mud, you see that, this head appears to be cracked in 3 places. Like, there were 2 very heavy axe smacks that kind of seemed to turn the center part of his skull into almost a pie slice.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It was probably a relatively quick death, but a gruesome one.
Yeesh. And now is just the task of getting back to the top, is it not?
Yep. You can either take the cave system, which would take you longer than just flying straight up, but would allow
Probably
you to
just-
better familiarize yourself with the path.
How long would it take me to take the cave system versus...
It probably took you about 4 days to get down here, and that was while mapping. On the way back up, it would probably take you, with a good survival check, maybe a day. With a less than stellar survival check, probably a day and a half or so.
How long would it take to fly up and out?
About 5 hours or so. Maybe half, maybe 6.
5 hours it is.
All right, 5 hours straight up. As you lift off, you do your best to kind of survey the area below you. But again, even with your stellar dark vision, you can only see so far into this abyss. But now you know you're way down there, rather than jumping straight off the cliff. The Maw can now be your domain. As Nara is flying back up to the surface. I don't know why the cave sounds just started to replay. I was trying to play the city sounds. There are bats in the city. Don't worry about it.
I mean, there's bats everywhere, really.
Yeah. Asmo, you're going about your morning routine.
So how many days has it been since Asmo was in the last shop?
It's been about 5 days.
Now, Bergen, is Bergen still in prison right now, in jail?
Currently, yes. He, like, there is your office is starting to receive some pressure to release him, as the investigation you were holding him for has presumably been solved. But you can arguably keep holding him until the judgment of Gideon Rook has passed.
Okay, well. Fair enough. Okay.
As you approach the constabulary itself, you are greeted by Urf, who presents you with a message. Like, he gives you a rolled-up scroll. As you look at the wax seal on the scroll, you recognize it's from one of your advisors. The wax scroll itself appears to be the depiction of a bird stamped on a red seal of wax.
Oh, boy. Who's this from?
Urf. He points off towards the east. Or towards the west.
So, okay. Asmo takes a hold of it and pops this, inspects this, Asmo inspects the seal on wax. What am I looking at here?
You know that this particular message has come from your informant Wizen, who you sent off to essentially be your informant in Needhog's camp. You haven't heard from him in a while. The last time you would have heard from him probably would have been a few weeks before the Reclamation Day events.
Asmo, this is the first time we've heard back from him, huh?
Yeah, probably about a moon or so.
Okay. Asmo is gonna take this into his private, his office, essentially, at the constabulary.
All right. You make your way.
Unless he's already in it.
Yeah, you make your way inside. Find yourself your nice comfy chair. Has a few stab marks in your desk due to either boredom or frustration at times.
Also hold down papers sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Well, Asmo, once he's alone, is going to open that seal and take a read.
You crack it open. Sure enough, it's written in the same kind of code language that you guys have established to make sure that if any of these messages ever got intercepted, they wouldn't be super easy to decipher. But as you go through and crack and decipher it, you find that Wyzen has come with some fairly disturbing news. It seems that he has just returned not too long ago, before sending this message, obviously, from a week-long sojourn up to the north, where he met essentially many of the high-ranking demon princes.
So he was in the west.
Kingdom.
Then he went north when he was in the west.
Yeah, he was taken north by the emissaries that came to visit with Needhog, is what you're kind of gathering from this. And he learned a few things that are not exactly stellar for everybody, in that it appears that that Ramses Palto has agreed to provide arms and armament for Needhog's camp. They're sending a blacksmith, but he's not entirely sure of the blacksmith's character. But his work with the hammer...
This is a blacksmith from the north. So this is a blacksmith from the north is coming down to work in Needhog's camp, correct?
Yep, and they're heading, like, they just got back with a shipment of sample armor and weaponry. And the blacksmith himself is there as well. To make matters worse, Wyzen has come to discover that the praying mantis, like the insectoid demon prince known as Kaitaron, which you guys had met at the wall previously, has also traveled back and is currently working to help Needhog figure out a way to...
But who was that again? Sorry, you cut out on my end.
The insectoid demon prince known as Kaitaron, the bug man that you guys met at the wall about a few years back.
Oh my god, I'm barely remembering. Oh, was that when we actually had that standoff at the wall?
Yep.
At the border? That guy. Okay. So he's now working in Needhog's camp as well.
Yes. Further, it appears that Wyzen writes that he is working to help the dragon learn how to create new spawn, or more draconid creatures.
Oh, fantastic.
That's
what I was just going.
Yeah, to make matters worse, let's see. Yeah, no, that's the worst of it that he knows. So that is the entirety of the message you have received from Wyzen.
Wait, you said, and to make matters worse, what?
Oh, there was a failed check. I'm sorry. So.
Oh. Okay.
I was going back through my list of things that he succeeded on and things that he failed on. So those are the information bits that you have.
Just those two pieces of information enough are already bad. Oh, shit. Asmo reads it and just goes... And Asmo just goes... Asmo wants to stab it, but it's trying to find something better. Ah, god dang it. Ah, fuck! And Asmo just swears out loud. That's just cut to somebody else at that point because, God, Asmo's like, oh, that's not great. You know, just looking at it, Asmo's thinking to himself, going like, I really would have loved to see instead is that, hey, Nidhogg had a meeting with the demons and they didn't get along and they don't like each other, so now they're fighting. I'm like, fantastic. Nope, the reverse. And now that weird bug dude is teaching Nidhogg how to fuck. Fantastic. This is great. Great. Just, he's got a sex therapist now? Ha! A blacksmith and a sex therapist. This guy's all over the map!
Wolfgang, at this point, you'd be sitting in your office. About 3 or 4 days ago, you had Talia come in and submit her list of candidates to work on your secret project with her to form a, let's say, shadowy unit within the Kylum Diaboli.
Mm-hmm.
All of the cadets and people she chose seem to have, you had no qualms with it, so she's presently setting up an office and a station with which to train them. But you are currently being briefed by Flix, who's informing you, as I was saying, it appears that there are a few segments of the pathway open to the west. We could maybe find a few ways to sneak some people out that way. Or perhaps deliver messages.
Yeah, we need people to be in contact with each other. From what I understand, the people out there are scattered, so delivering messages to get them all to gather will be very helpful. It's also a good backup plan if our Mind Engineer's initial plan does not go according.
Well, I know a few people that could play as guide or Sherpa to those that might need it. Should you have the willing blade to travel the dangerous roads of the Nexus?
That would be very helpful. Thank you, Flix. This is going to be very, very helpful.
Always a pleasure. She kind of bows her head. If you'll be needing me, I'll be under me hill.
Of course.
And with that, she leaves your office.
Wolfgang sort of just sits back in his chair and looks up at the ceiling. It's been a rough week trying to get everything sorted for a lot of different things. And now he's got a basically convicted murderer on his hand.
And as your mind drifts to the thought of the boy, we head down to the deep, dark undercellar of the Kylum Diaboli, where we find Denier standing outside the boy's cell. Denier, you've been standing outside this cell for probably 2 or 3 minutes. It's been days since you've checked in with the boy, since you got him in here, since you've discovered what he had done. He, for the most part, after you blocked off his surge, been fairly despondent. He's been refusing to eat, and at this point, they're afraid he's going to starve himself to death before he can face judgment. That's why they called for you.
As he stands outside of the cell staring at this boy.
The door itself is a solid door. It's a solid stone slab that needs magic to slide aside. The room inside is very heavily runed out. Design of your own, well, a function of your own design.
Mm-hmm. He would take a few moments preparing himself for whatever might be on the other side before he alerts the nearby guards that he's about to go in. And he would go ahead and enter the cell.
The guard would step to the side, clack his spear down to the ground. The brick on the floor would glow along with the runes on the spear itself. And the door itself would glow, allowing you to pass through. Turns from stone to an illusory wall. And as you step inside, the door seals behind you. As you step in, you feel the sensation of entering an anti-magic field. Your body just feels slightly duller, more muted. Sound seems to travel less far. It's an icky sensation.
He feels as though he's been suddenly forced into a sweater that's 2 sizes too tight.
Yeah, and furthermore, since you now know the feeling of having that magic in your blood, you kind of feel a little bit of luster just leave your body entirely as you step through. And as you look around the cell, there young Gideon sits, much more gaunt than the last time you saw him, which is bad considering the last time you saw him he was recovering from a gut slash.
Mm-hmm.
He's pale and kind of sits in a fetal position against the wall. He barely seems to acknowledge you as you walk in. His eyes glance over, but then immediately drift back down between his feet.
I've been told that you haven't been eating as of late.
He doesn't respond.
He approaches slowly, and then he crouches down so that he's a little bit more on eye level as he stares at Gideon with those piercing green eyes.
His eyes seem to dare not travel up to meet yours, instead continuing to kind of keep his chin tucked to his knees and his eyes looking down between his feet.
Why do you refuse? Do you believe this is penance for what has happened?
Give me a persuasion check.
Okie doke. Persuasion. That's a 16.
With a very dry voice, one that doesn't sound like it's drank water in a while. I didn't want to kill them. I didn't want to, but
But what?
I loved her. I told her. But when I did, she started acting weird around me and would barely look at me. And then her and Aiden, I didn't mean to. It just happened. But I can't take it back.
He gives a little bit of a nod. That's the thing about love. When a man opens their heart to the capability of love, they also welcome the possibility to learn how to hate.
I never hated him, but when I saw them together, I don't even remember doing it. Not in...
Do you remember going into the potion shop to buy the potion?
Yeah. I was gonna use it on Kylan to make her forget what I said. So things could go back the way they were. But then after I couldn't. I used it on me. I deserve to die.
I don't believe that you do. You did something wrong. Yes. But this... You approached it without malice in your heart.
That's not gonna bring them back.
It won't. And that's something that you're going to have to live with until the day that Mother Death comes for you.
What if I can't live with that?
We all have things that weigh on our soul. We all have regret. We all have things that burden us. But sometimes all you can do is look at what you've done, make your penance, and attempt to do what's right after that. Nobody in this world is perfect. Everybody in this world has done something wrong at some point in their life. But sitting here in this cell and starving yourself to death, that's not proper penance.
Make a persuasion with advantage.
Okie doke. 19.
His eyes finally look up to you. You can tell he has no tears to cry. His skin is chapped, dry, even pockmarked in places. Then what is? What could I possibly do?
That, and he points towards Gideon's chest, is not for me to decide. The people of Silver Rock will determine what happens next. No matter what happens, that's the first step. But you also have to come to grips with what you did. And you have to figure out a way to try to put a little bit more good in the world to counteract the wrong that you've put into it. And you can't do that when you're dead. I mean, he holds his hands out a little bit. Look at me. Look at how many people wanted me dead in this very city a couple years ago.
They say you attacked the king.
I did. Not under my own volition. I was a victim of enchantment magic from a powerful source. And this spell, this hex, forced me to not only attack King Bahum, but the Archmage of Mitternacht as well. I still attempt to make penance for what I was done, even though it was not my will.
His eyes look back down. I don't know what I can do.
The first thing that you can do is you can eat. You can drink. You can gather your strength. You can make preparations to do what's right, to make amends for what you've done.
His lip quivers. Give me another persuasion check.
Okay. That's a 12.
You just see him nod shallowly.
Despite what you've done, you're still my student. And I still care about you. That's why I'm here. I heard what was happening. I heard how you were taking all this. I wanted to stop by. I wanted to make sure that you would drink, you would eat. I don't think it's time for you to meet with the Great Mother yet.
He just nods shallowly again. Okay. If the least I can do is face the people's judgment, then I'll live for that.
Face those people. Stand up and admit that you've been wrong, that you wronged somebody. Move forward after. Pay your penance. And continue to attempt to strive to be a better person. Second chances and all that. Everybody's deserving of one. I got one. I'm sure that given time, you'll get one too. But take your lessons from this. Learn from everything that's happened. Learn from what you've done. So that this darkness never darkens your doorstep again. And that you don't bring darkness to anybody else's.
How many people have you killed?
Huh.
More than deserved. Some of them were to save lives. Some of them were to protect myself. And he thinks for just a moment about the red gem. About how another hymn brought about Ramses Pauto and the Bleeding God. Sometimes I wonder, truly, just how many people have suffered and how much blood has been spilled on this earth because of me. But, go ahead.
Gideon nods. And his eyes have met yours.
And he's keeping that stare. When Gideon asked that, there was a slight shift in Denir's eyes. He doesn't like the amount of people that he's had to kill over the years. The ones that were people the ones that were monsters, the ones that were people and then became monsters.
Oh, I can think of a list of people for that.
That blood is going to remain on my hands, on my claws, until the day that I meet Mother Death. I still remember them. I still see their faces.
Do you think they're all there waiting with her?
Many of them, yes. They all have a story to tell to her. What happens after? I don't know. But I imagine that you've got a story to tell as well, just as I will when the time comes.
He nods.
So don't let your story get cut short. You've got a lot of chapters to write. And he slowly begins to stand up. Is there, any kind of, food or anything nearby that was put into the cell that he's refused to touch?
There's a tray of food sitting by the wall that turns into the illusory wall that you walked through. Just a tray with some small wedge of bread, wedge of cheese, little bowl of what appears to be some sort of oatmeal gruel, or maybe a wheat stew or something.
Mm-hmm. He will carefully reach behind him, keeping an eye on Gideon, and with a single claw, he will hook a single claw onto the lip of that particular food bowl, and he will pull it over and put it in front of Gideon.
You hear the telltale sound from his stomach as he looks over, and he just grabs the cheese and takes a small bite.
As he does, there's this slightest hint of a kind smile as he looks over at this boy. I knew you could do it.
He continues to take small bites.
He slowly stands up as Gideon continues to slowly eat. I hope that I'll be able to see you again fairly soon, Gideon.
He looks up at you. I hope so too, Headmaster.
He gives a bit of a nod, and he backs out of the cell slowly through the illusory wall.
As you walk over to the wall, you give it the tap, tap. You hear the clang, clang on the other side, and the wall allows you to pass.
He steps out, and as he steps through the wall and stands on the other side, there's a visible shiver that runs through his entire body from head to toe, almost akin to a Miyazaki movie, as his fur bristles a little bit as he feels the magic returning to him. And he gives a slight shake before he gives one more look at the door.
As you watch the boy slowly eat from the other side of the illusory wall, the guard tap, tap, and the wall once again seals into a solid stone wall. The guard says, "Thank you. It wouldn't do for him not to face the people's justice for what he did."
He gives a nod. Indeed. Everybody has to face justice eventually. With fresh memories of this place and his history, Denier would turn and slowly begin to walk away from the cell.
As you turn down the hallway, your eye for a moment catches the slight glint of light coming from under the cell door that you know contains Theradoc Firefang.
Oh, I was wondering how that guy was doing. I was thinking about him.
Nobody's checked on him in 5 years. It's hard to say.
Well, out of character, Asmo probably checked every now and then.
He would have given you a lot.
It's kind of his job. I mean, like, it's like, you still in there? Yeah. All right.
You know what? Denier turns and he begins walking towards that cell.
The guard would turn and say, do you have business over there, sir?
No.
He has information that we need. I figure I've already talked to one. Might as well talk to him while I'm here. If you need permission from the sheriff, I can reach out to him right now.
No, you've been given express permission to come and go. I'll accompany you. And he follows you down to the cell door. He starts rummaging through his key ring for the special rune-laced key that is set to unlock that door. As the arcane runes shine a beautiful, brilliant cyan blue as they enter the threshold of the lock, you hear almost like gears turning throughout the door as the key is turned once. There's a hum, and then the door seems to kind of release and kind of almost free swing. The guard would open the door for you, and on the inside sits the massive rune-laced sphere that inside holds the still chained and de-winged Theradoc Firefang, whose eyes glance up with a very maliceful look as the door is opened. What do you want?
I was here visiting another student. I decided to pay you a visit as well. It's been a little bit since we had a talk.
A little bit. Huh. Yes, I imagine it has. His arms dangle from those chains that keep him held aloft. His legs barely touching the bottom of the sphere that keeps his powers contained.
Hopefully, I'm a welcome change given the company that you've had previously.
Better than my last visitor. My father doesn't make for great conversation. You remember back to Horatia's, let's say, behaviors whenever his son was brought up, whenever Theradoc was brought up. Especially during the meeting. Yeah, especially during the previous council meeting.
I would imagine the last I spoke to him, he had quite the reaction when your name was brought up.
Did he? Tell me, what was the look on dear father's face?
What, for my sake, Lenny, it was what? Shock that Ramses was interested in Theradoc?
There was like a sense of shock, and then as any conversation turned towards him, he almost seemed there's it's hard for you to say in memory. It's either shame or sorrow that you were glancing off his very well polished face.
It was a combination of shock and, I would say, sorrow.
That's rich. Though if he does bear weight on his heart, he bears it full-heartedly. I'm in here for a crime I've never even committed. Where is my justice, Denier?
Have you seen the evidence that we have against you? The conspiracies and plots and plans that were set up for you to soon enact?
Crimes that I could not commit. Crimes that I was never given the ability to commit. Conspiracies that are alleged.
Sedition in and of itself is a crime.
Were
Conspiracies on that level is a crime.
Were you there? Did you see these crimes? As far as I'm aware, some time travelers came, gave word of what happened. Where is the proof?
I was not there, no. But I've seen the results. I've seen into their heads. I know what happened. But that is neither here nor there.
Then where are we?
We're at a momentary possibility to make your life a little bit easier. To make your life a little bit more comfortable. I don't want to be the stick. There's plenty of people around here that had the capability of being the stick. Truthfully, I still hold fond memories from when we worked together.
A lifetime ago at this point.
Indeed. Which is why I've come to you as the foremost expert in your field. I wish to speak to you of Nidhogg himself.
Ah. The Red Dragon of the West. Unfortunately, my studies were cut quite short.
Very true. But you still have insights. You still have an expertise in the field.
And you have sway around here. Tell you what. Get them to loosen my chains. It has been years since I believe my shoulders have been properly in their own sockets. I would like to feel the sensation of blood rushing to my hands again. Maybe then we'll talk.
He thinks for a moment. I will bring your offer to the table. Hell, perhaps even a better diet to sweeten the deal.
No more rat stew. Maybe I'll come to miss the flavor.
He says with a snide tone.
Perhaps. Never know. Never know what flavor a yumberry would give you. Nonetheless, I will take your words to the council, and I will see what can be done. I feel that, once again, you and I can do great things together.
That
That can be
remains
mutually
to be
beneficial.
seen.
Indeed. And with that, he will begin to back out of the cell.
His eyes
Until
close.
next time, Master Firefang.
He kind of grunts a dissatisfied sound towards you at that. And as you leave the room, the door closes, the guard inserts the key in the lock, and you hear the whirring of the various arcane contraptions within that door come back to life. And the door stands solid and firm.
As Denier begins walking away, he mutters to himself slowly. Hopefully a first step towards the whole Nidhogg situation. First things first, gotta get those people out of there. Need to make preparations in case things go wrong. I might have to take a trip to Master Pringler for a little bit. And he will walk off, making plots and plans and preparations in his own mind as he does.
Asmo, with the message you received, would you take that directly to Wolfgang?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
As you leave the dungeon itself, exiting out through the courtyard of the Kylum Diaboli, you run into Asmo, who's just on his way in.
Oh, good. I was going to call for you anyways. Got some intel.
I hopefully have an additional source of intel.
Oh boy. Well, we'll find out, won't we? Where'd you
Indeed.
just come from? Where'd you just come from?
The prisons. I had to have a talk with young Mr. Rook, because apparently he wasn't eating, and while I was there, I decided to have a chat with Theradoc Firefang.
Ah, our lifer. How much did he appreciate the conversation?
He said it was a
Anytime I ever
right...
go up there, I just ask him how he's doing, and he goes, he just laughs or chuckles. You know how he is, so menacing.
Well, he actually gave me words, but then again, I looked into a possibility of gaining insight into his expertise, and he is basically saying if we make things a bit easier on him, we can potentially have a step in the right direction. Basically, he's saying that he wants to be able to stretch his arms, have blood flow back to his shoulders, and talks can begin from there.
Like I need to explain to you how powerful of a magic person he is. And just even being able to move his arms in a certain way might activate some kind of spell he has access to.
I am aware of the risks, but at the same time, do you know of anybody on this planet that has the same amount of knowledge that Theradoc Firefang has, given what they saw, you know where? Denier refers to the future timeline that Asmo and Denier were not a part of.
Can't really think of anything anytime you magic casters start talking about your stuff. It's one of the reasons why I assume almost everything you can do will just surprise people who don't have an understanding of magic innately. So, any wiggle room he's given might be able to wiggle it away that activates a spell. But, that being said, 5 years is a long time.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how much of a slight change of diet would be a quality of improvement. Then again, he's probably really grumpy. Heard anything from Nara in the last week?
No, and as far as I'm concerned, I know going down to the mall takes her a while. I gotta imagine she knows the route, roughly, but with all the twisting paths and everything, it probably takes her a while.
I have no idea how she manages to go all the way down there and stay there.
I don't know. I listen. When I accepted getting into a relationship with her, I accepted many things, and one of them was being, she does random stuff I don't fully get, but I support her all the same. Miss her, though.
Nara,
Anyways,
Nara, actually, at about this time of day, you'd be coming up towards the edge of the maw. You can actually kind of hear the hum and drum of the city as you fly up. You can tell you're near the slums, specifically due to the smell of the walls slowly becoming more putrid as people tend to dump their refuse down the sides of the maw.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah. As you lift up the past the crest of the maw itself, you do find yourself in the slums of Silver Rock, or slightly above them as you were flying at full speed.
Would probably make minor pit stops by the places that she had talked to before. That one, oh gosh. There was the Peter Popper's
Potion Emporium?
and the woman that she spoke to before. The bar.
Yes. What name did I give that bar?
Something cockerel, I think.
That sounds right.
Or
There's a rusted over sign. I remember that much.
yeah, it was green. It had a chicken. What was it called?
I have to go back through my notes.
I know, I'm trying to go through as well.
I need to better organize them. Right now they're all just in like one massive text document. I need like an
Yep.
Excel sheet or something.
Anyway, yeah, she would just kind of survey them as she is heading back towards town, since she knows she needs to get this head back sooner than later.
I was about to ask, I just realized you are in town. I'm so sorry.
Oh, like as of just now, yeah.
Yeah. As you say, just the hand grasp. Creating another hole. I don't know.
Yeah, so checking in with them, none of them have anything like really new to give you just yet. Give me what would this be? Let's say an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. Twelve.
You get a few vague rumblings about people in town visiting. Like there's at the bar specifically, there was a bit of a hum and a drum. Like the people seemed a bit like happier around there today. Apparently, some cleric passed through, some healer.
A healer.
Yeah,
Gave
a
everyone
healer
shoulder
man.
rubs.
Yeah, somebody like specifically came down just to the district, and yeah, you notice that like sickness is less prolific around the area, and certain people just seem like a little bit happier. And what information you were able to gather is that like they like some of them say like an old man, some of them say a nice man, appeared to be a holy man. Been kind of traveling through the area.
No descriptors of what he looked like, aside from old and or nice.
Kind of straw-like golden hair with streaks of gray, like patches of like gray in it. Short beard of the same salt and turmeric quality. Seemed to wear a darkish stained cloak, wore a holy symbol around his neck. But from the people that you're talking to in the bar, none of them managed to catch his name. But a few of them seem to recognize that he's come by every now and again. Like he's been around for a bit.
Okay.
Now that you have the head, where would you take it?
Would probably head straight for the guide. And to get Denier and Wolfgang present for speaking to the head. Mainly Denier.
All right. Well, as you're flying over town, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. 19.
You do see as you swish through the town on Pixie Stick that by the entrance of the Kylum Diaboli, just like a little bit into the courtyard, you do see Denier and Asmo.
Then she
Miss her though, and just like slow mo. She walks from the corner. I'm like,
oh, she would just descend and stand behind him.
but anyway, she'll be back soon. Eventually, I hope. I just
Hello.
A second later, it's great to see you. Asmo just gives her a kiss on the cheek.
He turns
checking
her
his pulse.
face so that he must kiss her mouth.
I'm gonna. I think I walk all the time with my job, otherwise I'd have a heart attack.
Hair's a little more mussed than usual, smells a bit of cave grime and sweat, but...
Legit. Wait. Babe, did you eat bats again?
She stares for a while.
I know that they're everywhere down there, but like
She
you can
smiles.
carry food. You can carry food that's dry and like not eat bats.
But that food is old.
I can't argue with you on this. It is old. It's true, but like bats don't have seasoning.
Nara, try
You
not
don't
to
really
eat.
need seasoning when they're raw. They're pretty good on their own. I feel like you just haven't had enough bats in your life.
Bats are pretty good. I mean, they do make one of the most well-known spell ingredients in magic.
Some of them can also be used as coffee.
They're also bats. You know, like rats with wings.
Delicious.
So, okay. It's great that you're here. I look forward to seeing you tonight having food. You know, not bat related, but like, regular food.
Oh, I found the head.
She presents...
Just the head, or did you...
She pulls it right out of a bag with one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want her to, but I know that she would.
It's currently sitting just in a head-sized leather pouch. But if
Can Asmo stop her if she's pulling it out of the bag? Like,
That is muddy and gross.
Yeah.
Probably a couple maggots flopping around on it too.
It's very decomposing at this point. It's been sitting down there for better part of a week.
So we need to go talk to the guide so that we can talk to Aiden.
Is there anything specific that we might need to talk to him apart from getting his last wishes?
That's really a you question. This was the Ma-related business, and I'm kind of done with that now, so...
Like I told you last time you talked to me about it, Denier, I still think the whole thing's messed up. Something about that entire case doesn't make sense. Still got a guy in my holding tank who happened to work at the exact place where all this happened, in direct connection. And as far as I'm concerned, it's too much of a coincidence. There's more to this. There just is. It's my hunches of hunches, or I'm the most wrong I've ever been. So, I don't like that optic. Sorry. Asmo has probably had an argument with him about this in the past, where the case doesn't feel solved at all. It's like, we have this, but it's like something about this is weird. There's too many other factors. So.
Well, I bet if we ask Aiden questions, we'll know.
Well, speaking of, we gotta go talk to Wolfgang. And actually, it's good that you're here, Nara. Otherwise, I'd have to bring you up to speed on this. I would advise going and having a shower or a bath of some kind because you got
Why?
cave on you. You got cave on you. We've talked about this more
You
than
have
3.
city on you.
I shower once every 48 hours, whether I need it or not. You've been away for a week. There aren't showers in the Underdark. There's not. There's waterfalls of some kind, but I would assume that they don't have soap.
She stares at him quizzically.
Hey, Lani.
Yes.
I would like to sleight of hand prestidigitate Asmo.
All right, Asmo, perception, Denier, sleight of hand.
I won't even bother trying to perceive it.
Okay, 13. I'm gonna make Asmo dirty.
Asmo now smells of cave.
That. Then we've only doubled the problem.
We'll see you in a minute, Denier. We gotta go shower.
What the? Oh, is this one of the things where like the hand like wraps around and then the head's still there but the body's moving with her? Like.
Oh, yes.
Denier stares at the two, gives a knowing smirk, and gives a wave. Just this cheeky, almost condescending wave to Asmo as he's getting pulled away.
Poor Asmo.
Poor Asmo.
Asmo in a
baby.
relationship with a boss lady, and there you go. There you go.
Oh my. Asmo's dating a girl boss.
It's literally what's happened. She's literally in
Yeah.
charge of a chunk of the world.
And
It's
well,
Well,
and while Nara drags Asmo away from a mid-afternoon shower session, so that he can later deliver his information fresh and clean, here is where we will take a quick break. Hey guys, Lani here. I just wanted to thank you for rolling with us. And if you wanted to catch us live, you can do so almost every Monday at 5 o'clock Central Time over on twitch.tv/Lanipator. Now, back to the show. So after a nice shower, you all meet up at the Kylum Diaboli to give Wolfgang your various bits of news.
literally throws a head on his desk.
Plonk.
What is this? And why
On
did
the
it squish?
paperwork.
Wolfgang will take a sharp inhale through his nose.
Immediate mistake. It's a smell that you don't have to make a Constitution save for, but it is a very familiar smell of rot, putrid rot.
You just threw a corpse on my desk, didn't you?
No, I only threw a head on your desk. A corpse
Cool.
is the whole thing.
Yes. Well put. Desk is covered in deadhead juices now. Thank you.
Yeah, the brownish,
I'll
reddish
pull
liquid
some-
is slowly pooling out of the lip of the bag.
I'll just
Surely there was
yank-
no important
yank all my
paperwork on his
papers.
desk.
I'll
Yeah,
yank
that's
all
what I
my
thought.
papers out from underneath the thing, and I'll prestidigitate them clean and dry, and preferably better smelling as well.
There's
Just
only
go for
so
all
there's only
three, and I'll
so
just-
much you can magically do about the smell, but
I'll place them behind me on the floor so they don't get any more corpse juices on them.
Juicy.
Again, head, not corpse.
Thank you for the clarification.
Of course.
So, why have you presented this head to me? Is this one of my loved ones? Are you threatening me?
No, it's
Nara
one of my
thinks
students.
about it for a while, though.
The longer she thinks, the more Wolfgang's eyes slowly narrow.
Well, you didn't know them. I didn't do it.
She looks at him as if that negates any potential of what he was talking about as an issue.
He just rolls his eyes and shakes his head. Who is it?
It's Aiden. Aiden Moore.
I see. And, what do you expect me to do with him?
She
No.
pulls out a bat and starts eating it. I was gonna take it to the guide. So you guys could ask some questions. Did you want
Yeah.
some? I'm sorry.
No, I'm good. You got a little hair in your teeth. Is that
Oh.
scale?
I'll get him out later.
The scale looks familiar.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right.
Asmo, are you missing any scales?
No, but I got scrubbed really good in the shower.
So good.
Yeah.
Well,
If black
scales
snakes
from
could
you.
blush through the scales, I don't know if
Please.
blood can rush to the actual set. All right, I'm trying to lighten the mood a little bit before I drop some doozy.
There
Asmo.
is a doozy leaking
in
on my
front of
desk.
Aiden.
The head continues to decompose.
That's my
It
shtick.
can't talk to you
Sorry.
instead. It can't talk to you instead.
God
It's a
damn
love
it.
letter. It's a love letter. He's just, it's, we steal because it's good.
Well, let's get to it before I have to call in a squad to come clean my office. Probably already
Okay,
do have to.
let's go to the guide. In the graveyard? He's in a graveyard, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Choose a bat and blood is just dripping all over your floor.
We just had a shower. Okay.
It's
So-
not getting on Nara
Oh,
or
well.
anyone else. Just Wolfgang.
Just getting on my floor.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
So do we want to have this talk before we go or after we go?
Oh, we have to have several talks before we go. I need to go
Nara is
last
on her
because
way.
I am going to derail everything. Oh, I thought we were all in the
Let-
room with it.
Yeah,
Are we all in
Let's
the
you're
do
room?
all
it
in the
while
room,
we're
but if-
going.
Okay.
Very hefty conversation to have on the go, but
Are we in the room yet?
you're in Wolfgang's office, but it sounds like Nara's leaving.
Now, where are you
She's
going?
starting to walk out. If no one stops her, she will just head towards the guide.
Asmo holds
If this
on
is
to
a-
her wrist. Asmo, stay, Nara.
If this is a conversation that requires the use of the preventative wards that keep most people, eyes that one brick from spying on us, then we
Yeah.
should have it here.
Head out after this information's dropped, okay? Just the stuff I want. Stuff I need. Just one
Finish
second.
your bat.
Fine. I will from front of that. Go ahead and talk.
One time she
Bits
bloody
of
does
bats
what I
Asmo-
fly out
Asmo
onto
takes
his
the-
now cleaned papers.
Got
One
this.
time she bloody does what I says. Fucking. What? He just says.
Asmo tosses it.
Note.
Yeah.
Wolfgang, the note you see is what appears to be a series of poems and stanzas. It makes neither hide nor hair to you.
He looks up at Asmo. This supposed to mean something?
Oh, right. Asmo takes it back, and Asmo kind of goes over it and looks at them all and essentially explains the information that was conveyed to him involving Nidhogg, the politics that surrounded that, and the two pieces of information with there's now a blacksmith working for Nidhogg, and now that gentleman we met at the and I'll end with, and yes, and their new emissary who seems to be teaching Nidhogg how to make more of himself is none other than that one guy we met at the wall 5 years back.
Oh, criminy.
Yeah.
Perfect. Simply
So-
perfect.
Ramses
Nidhogg has the
and-
plague bringer.
Ramses and the dragons are in cahoots. Not the other dragons, the red ones.
On the bright side on that front, I may have gotten the ball rolling with Firefang.
Oh, no, Nara, you can go now, by the way.
She's chewing her bat and stares at him like, oh no, I'm here
Okay.
now.
You hear the crunch of every bone and bit of cartilage.
So in order for Firefang to work with us, we're going to have to... I suggested potentially making things a little bit easier on him, a little bit more comfortable if he works with us. And he mentioned that he wants to be able to move his arms, if but for a few moments. He wants to be able to stretch his arms, feel his arms not be disconnected from each other, from his shoulder sockets.
Oh, I'm certain. I'm certain that's all he wants.
He has information that we need. On top of that, we're going to have to be... likely we're going to need to make the move on the west fairly soon. I can only imagine how impatient Tom has been getting as of late.
Just sitting in the bar. God
Aye.
damn it, there's hair everywhere.
I've been talking to Flix about potential ins and outs nearby. We're going to have some people try and gather the lycanthropes. And then after that, it's up to us.
I've already spoken to Red Screech. He has been looking for his people over the last number of days. I made sure to inform him that we had one shot at this, and he needs to have all his people ready to go when we're ready to operate.
Bloody hell, it's been days. Feels like weeks.
Feels like months. And we also need to be prepared just in case things go south and we have an incursion with Nidhogg's forces.
Well,
Fun.
Kylum can be all over that. I still need to meet with the people over at Wild's Edge and see if they can...
How would, based on the information we have, how exactly would Nidhogg make more dragons exactly? I mean, does he need another dragon to have it with, or is it like going to be like a clutch of egg? I don't get how this...
Well, when a mommy dragon and a daddy dragon love each other very much.
Alright, so like, where's the mommy dragon then? You know, like is there another dragon at play then? Otherwise, are they...
There was last time. But look at it like this. We know where Nidhogg came from. What Nidhogg was before.
Asmo kind of lip curls up a little bit of that being said.
And we also know that Firefang ascended himself. So that means it is possible to take a Dragonborn and turn them into a dragon. It's a matter of heading them off at the pass before they figure out how to do that.
Sounds like they already have, and they're just going to enact it soon. The question is, do we undercut that somehow? Kind of hard to do when you're in town here.
Denier makes a little bit of a face.
No, it's just... You know, anything involving Nidhogg gets me heated.
Wait a minute, is that why Ramses was reaching out to us asking about Nidhogg not too long ago? About Firefang specifically?
Maybe.
Right. Fuck.
That shielding in there is airtight, isn't it? There's no way that even Ramses could penetrate it?
Now, when you say in there, do you refer to the prison or inside of Nidhogg's head?
The prison.
I mean,
There's no way
anything
that-
is infallible given enough time. I mean, you leave me in there long enough, I'd eventually find my way out. But then again, I've also made ways to attempt to counter every way that I could think of to try to get out of there.
Asmo scratching his chin, thinking.
It also turns out that apparently Harash visited Firefang during the festival.
Haha. Oh, did he now?
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what your prisoner claimed. Can we get any confirmation that he did? Did anyone see him? Must have been guards on service at that time.
That would be a you question, my man.
Well, no one told me anything, so... Sounds like Harash went and undercut my local constabulary. That's so him.
I mean, if you're a guard, are you going to say no to Harash walking up to you saying, let me in? I mean, even I would have issues standing up against him.
The
Although-
whole thing with all the magic we're dealing with, just magic doing stuff that was never expected before. So the belief that somehow there's some magic out there that can penetrate through these walls and get to this guy, I believe that it exists. The question is, are they using it or not? However, you did have a conversation with him. He said he'd like to have his hands a little bit more free.
Hands are necessary for somatic components.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but at the same time, I've seen the arcane innate be able to cast magic without using their hands or their mouth. The field inside of that prison is oppressive, to say the least. I made it that way. And even those of the sorceress bloodline, that shit feels bad when you walk in that room. Like you feel part of your very essence leave your body.
We'll have to get a special security detail for this. If he's got his arms free, then... who knows what he's capable of.
Well, we know that he won't be able to fly anywhere.
Flying is not the issue. Shoot. I'd like some good news. That'd be great. You know, the only good news I had was Nara showed up.
I mean, Nara was able to recover my dead student so we can give him a proper burial and find his last right. Give him his last rites and find out his last request.
Yeah.
Nara, what have you done with that skull since you've acquired it?
Nothing. At
Insight.
Go ahead and roll insight. Nara, if you're lying, go ahead and roll a deception.
That one.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah!
Nara hasn't done anything to the
I
head
believe
Yeah!
There we go.
Yeah.
other than put it in the bag that it's currently in.
Yeah.
Didn't drop it at all.
Good old trustworthy Nara.
She
The
never do a
best
thing.
thing. the best thing, this is for chat, in-game, Denier does not know this. She didn't do anything. She just wants to fuck with Denier.
And yet it comes across like you're telling the truth, which oddly enough you are.
Yeah.
Whoa!
That's crazy.
In a Nara first.
And Nara first. She's truthful and totally reliable.
Actually, in that case, give me a performance check.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
It's 20. Yeah.
Denier, she might have done something, but you're not sure what.
His eyes narrow at her under his hood. Wait, he's not wearing the hood anymore. His eyes narrow at her for just a few long moments before he turns his attention back to Wolfgang.
Are we gonna get on with this?
I'm just waiting for you all. We had to talk in here for some reason.
Just didn't want any private information to get out there.
I mean, we
She
have
looks
enough
at the
spies.
brick with the runes on it.
We have enough spies
Well,
around here as is.
Yeah, it's been destroyed.
Still.
All right, let's get a move on.
You make your way through the city and into the graveyard and down into the crypts beneath the graveyard of the city of Silver Rock, where the guide now calls his home. The same chilled air greets you. Wolfgang, to you, it's always very discomforting walking through here. It's not comfortable for any of the rest of you, but Wolfgang, specifically with your blood, it just feels wrong traveling through this land of death. You find him tending to some of the graves, some of the graves within the catacombs. Ah. Welcome, Sister Nara, Lord Connolly, Master Denier, and Asmo.
Asmo just kind of like nods.
He gives a bit of a bow to the guide.
I sense you have brought me an article missing its connection.
Two of my students have been murdered recently.
Yes.
One I have already left in your hands to ensure that they are properly sent to Mother.
Young
I bring the
Kylan's,
second.
young Kylan's grave is settled, though still fresh on the surface.
Her final request has been sent to her mother and her sister.
Then this must be young Aiden. He points towards the bag. It's dripping that red-brown Icarus fluid.
He nods. He was found in the mall. Nara went a great deal out of her way to recover him and to ensure that he is safely and properly given his final rest.
More like your mother every day, he says. Your shadow bristles at that, Nara.
She'll take it in, but not wanting to step on saying questions at the wrong time again. She's a little bit more quiet this time around.
He gently floats towards you. I can see that he is reunited with the rest of him. This way. And he floats past you down one of the many corridors of the catacombs. If you choose to follow along.
Denier would follow.
Wolfgang would also follow.
You travel underground until you find another egress point from the catacombs, which seems to lead up. A set of stone stairs that leads to a brown hatch, like a brown wooden hatch. And on the other side, you find what appears to be basically an undertaker's laboratory of sorts, workroom.
Oh, so 96, 97 Undertaker then. Okay.
Yeah, the one that still built the caskets.
Okay.
You find on a table with sort of a iridescent glow about it. Anybody can make an arcane check on that. Nara and Denier. Well, Nara would have advantage. Anybody else can just make a regular arcana check.
20.
Denier, you notice that you recognize that this field is essentially meant to preserve the body, which, with the various stitches and the various stitched up body parts together, you would assume to now be Aiden's body. The rest of him, please. And he holds out his hand. Anyone?
As far as I know, Nara has the head.
Yeah.
Oh, she dropped that on Wolfgang's desk. That no longer is her problem.
The head sits on Wolfgang's desk.
Guess what?
God.
Can Asmo have secretly grabbed it when he's like,
Yeah,
"Forgot
I'm
the
assuming
head."
somebody would have grabbed it.
Asmo just like, oh my gosh, you forgot
If
the
it
head.
was just
Okay.
left on Wolfgang's desk, then before they left, Wolfgang would have grabbed it.
Nara, you left it on his table, on his desk. And Wolfgang, you left this on your desk. God damn it, guys.
I was gonna go get it. I got it. I'm done.
He continues holding out his hand.
Denier will reach out and take the skull from Asmo, holding it with such reverence as he gently and carefully places it in the guy's hands.
You have to do it very gently and with two hands because the axe strokes that, as you're looking at this head, such a brutal and vicious attack from the young man that you just earlier were trying to comfort. His head was, the top part of it was chopped into almost a pie wedge. One of the eyes is rolling out of the socket due to the damage to the upper skull. As the guy gently takes the head, he places it at the top of the body and starts to very gently stitch the head back to the rest of the body. A door opens from the other side, and Wolfgang, you recognize Gloria. She walks in and begins to help prep the body as well. She gives you a nod, Master Connolly, as she walks in.
Wolfgang will nod back to her. Gloria, you look like you're well.
I'm simply doing the will of the lady. It is a peaceful calling, she says as she starts to kind of anoint the body with various oils and starts to burn some sage and other herbaceous incense. And the scent kind of starts to fill the room. A herbaceous scent of old woods, sage, something floral lingering among it as well. And as the guide finishes his work, the head begins to take on the same glow as the rest of the body. Now all he needs is a fresh grave, unless you wish to speak with him.
Glances over towards his companions. Do any of you have any questions that you would ask of him? I only need the one, if we were to ask of him.
I guess.
So, go ahead.
We may as well confirm what happened. We got 5 questions.
We do. I will ask my question first, and then the rest of you will be able to ask. Though be warned, any utterance may be taken as a question. So if you ask each other a question before this begins, that will probably be best. Once it happens, talking to each other may be received by his spirit.
I understand.
I will begin then.
The guide takes up kind of a meditative stance, and the flickering torchlight around the room begins to dim, as if the shadows are hugging in tight to the sources of light themselves. The room ticks down a few degrees, almost as if you stepped back down into the catacombs themselves. The air feels colder, clammier. As the guide's eyes reopen, they begin to glow with this green, baleful light.
Speak to us your last words, your words from beyond the grave. Words left unspoken, spoken now. Aiden Moore, we call you back to hear your words unspoken.
The body begins to move.
Speak your words. Answer our questions and set your spirit free. Aiden Moore.
The head begins to pulsate and kind of contort as the mouth opens up, its eyes now taking on the same green glow as the guide's. The head kind of oozing and pulsing as it begins to throb back and forth, the vivisection of the middle chunk kind of pulsating as the brain starts to awaken within his frame. And the guide nods to you, Denier.
Denier takes a step forward. My student, your killer has been found and captured. What is your last request of me?
Protect Kylan.
He closes his eyes for just a moment. Kylan has been taken care of. And he steps back. He makes a comment, holding up a single finger to the rest of his party.
Wolfgang just looks disgusted.
Asmo's just got his arms crossed because this part of the necromancy and everything is just so unsettling.
Do you know who killed you?
Gideon thought he was my friend.
Nier holds up a second finger.
Just so I understand, they knew about the Yumberry wine at the farm already, correct?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Aiden was the one who broke in and said that he knew of it.
Right. But how?
Yeah, that's one of the parts. Okay. All right.
Okay, great. Sounds like Connor's already on that track then, because Nara's not going to speak up because of how last time almost fucked up.
How do I word this?
Holding up two fingers, Daenerys will hold up a second hand and show 5, as though to tell everybody, we have 5 questions and we have used 2 of them.
So just to be clear, we knew he did not acquire the Yumberry wine. He found it in that shed.
He knew
where it was, though.
Yeah, he seemed to know that it was there.
And he was not under the employ of that farmer.
Nope.
No.
How did you know about the Yumberry wine in the shed?
Asmo looks right at Wolfgang for like, it's a great point.
My friend Darvis. She works for the Green Fringes. She told me.
The Green Fringes?
That's the name of the farm. The farm where the bodies were.
Third finger.
Darvis, is that above game? Is that the name of the?
That was the young woman you talked to that seemed to be the housemaid of the Green Fringes.
Darvis is the name of.
Asmo repeats what was just like. Darvis is one of the first people I actually talked to when we went to the Green Fringe. Well, Denier was there with me. He remembers it. Well. Well.
Wolfgang folds his arms in front of his chest, thinking. He looks to the others if anybody else has a question.
What was the name of the guy that's in jail?
Gideon.
Or
No.
are you talking about
The one that won't talk that's going to be released.
The sorcerer hater.
Yes.
Hans Bergen.
Hans Bergen.
Was he in any way related to this kid? I forget.
You don't know.
That's the.
I think it was tangential.
But
that's what we're trying to figure out if they're connected, but it's seeming like.
Can you am I able to ask a question too, or is it specific people who can ask the body a question? Oh my gosh, so weird.
I don't mind.
Oh my
Holds up
god.
a fourth finger.
Asmo, that was a question. I can't
wasn't
even
asking.
say it in Nara's voice. It doesn't matter. You asked it out loud.
Just all of our heads turning in unison to Asmo.
Nara just walks up and takes her hand and just on the top of his mouth and the bottom of his mouth just holds it shut. And what was the guy's name again? Hans Bergen?
Hans
Yeah.
Bergen.
Looks at Wolfgang and just says,
Hans Bergen.
Do you know a man named Hans Bergen?
I don't know anyone by that name.
And as he says that, the light begins to drift out of his eyes, and what remaining air filled his rotting lungs escapes.
As the
And
light
the body
fades,
begins to relax back onto the slab.
as the light fades, Denier simply speaks up. Rest well, my student. Tell your tales to our mother.
And the light slowly returns to the room, and it begins to warm up a little bit again.
We're gonna have to speak to this Dorvis.
The guide
Though
looks.
not
The guide looks over to Gloria.
Prepare a fresh grave next to young Kylan's.
Yes, master, she says.
Wolfgang still just looks absolutely disgusted.
I do hope that was able to provide some closure for you. Whatever the relationship, loss is a tremendous and beautiful grief.
They lived in my town.
As have
I can't-
all those who rest in these grounds now.
I can't help but feel like I failed them somehow.
There is no failure. All who are born will eventually meet Lady Death's embrace. To fight that would be to fight nature itself.
They were just kids. They were just bloody kids.
And his like the leather on his glove makes a sound as his knuckles tighten.
The guide, knowing that you're not necessarily looking for comfort in this situation, remains silent.
Love can be really fucked up sometimes.
The air of
Nara
the room
will.
is stifling.
Oh, it's just Asmo doesn't know if he can talk. He's like,
Yeah.
Nara will
Wolfgang-
release the hand from
Ah.
Asmo's mouth.
Sorry, I didn't know how it worked.
Asmo scratched the back of his scalp.
I hope I didn't ruin that, because,
I don't think there was anything else we could have asked him. though, in the future. We should be mindful of that.
That's why I made sure to ask the most important question first.
He raises his eyebrow and looks to Denier like, yeah, that's fair.
I think we're
Where
done
is
here.
Hans, by the way? I haven't talked to him yet.
You still got him locked up, eh?
Wonder if he'd be keen to chat.
I don't know how much longer we were able to hold him.
Then I
It's
guess I
seeming-
should talk to him soon.
Don't know how forthcoming he's going to be. From what I heard about his interrogation, it ended poorly.
Wait, who interrogated him again?
Points at Asmo.
He's still there.
Yeah.
Now I know that.
Right now,
Now I know.
the only problem you're running into with him is he absolutely refuses to talk now, knowing that there is magical influence guiding his tongue whenever he opens his mouth.
Well. What an interesting piece of information we now know. Well,
I want to go talk to him if I could. That would just be swell. Since I feel like he'd be very keen to talk to me, a magical person.
oh, he had lots of things he'd like to say to you. Most of them slurs.
Exactly, and I would love to hear them in person.
Listen, I already suplexed him through a table. I mean, like, hey, you want to go talk to him? You can
Who
talk
else
to
went
him.
to the
But
kills a rotten egg? She runs.
I'm the rotten egg. I got more stuff to talk to you about. God, she's moving really quick here, though. Wolfgang, I need to tell you, but I think I'm gonna have to follow up with the farm again and have a talk with that aide.
Yeah, see
friend.
what you can find out about this Dorvis and how she was able to procure that much Yumberry wine. That is
It literally made me stop my investigation, wondering what the connection between the two were, because that was an amount that was baffling.
Town is very wealthy because of it, but it's been nothing but problems ever since the money stopped coming in.
If we just legalize it, we could make money off of it, but, I mean...
Well, it was legal until people started abusing it.
Everyone finds a way.
Nara,
I'm gonna go catch up to her. She's moving fast, so I'll be...
Yeah, Nara's booking it. Nara, as you're, like, running out of the, essentially, like, the, what would this be? The morgue? As you're essentially running out of the guide's preparation room, you do manage to run past Gloria, who's currently digging a hole next to Kylan's grave, young Kylan Frosk's grave. As you're booking your way out of the graveyard and back into town.
She would, like, smile, because with that, like, giddy joy of racing, and, like, wave to Gloria as she digs the grave and heads towards town.
She would wave back and then continue.
The minute she sees Asmo start to catch up, by the way, she will hop on the pixie stick to double her speed.
Both of you give me athletics checks first, just to see, because Nara, you have a head start, but I want to see if and how much Asmo's catching up.
Oh, it's not going to be good for Nara, so...
Oh, I know.
It's a 9.
Need me to roll as well, athletics?
Yes.
Oh, man, we're getting some speed walking here. 25!
Oh, god damn it.
Asmo's
It's
like,
scene, fast.
Asmo's
it's
like,
the scene from Kung Fu. It's like Kung Fu Hustle when they're
Yeah.
chasing.
Yeah, like he's got that Tom Cruise arm pump going.
Oh yeah, it's like nothing's stopping me. I'm gonna save the world. It's gonna.
Nara, and seeing that makes Nara like scramble, but she's not super athletic, so it slows her down.
There's like a panel from Ice Shield 21 happening
Yeah,
right now.
as Gloria kind of like waves at Nara as she runs by, Nara gets a little further ahead, and then you see like the ponytail in the back of her head just whip forward as Asmo just flies by. You said you'd hop on your pixie stick?
Oh yeah, she's booking it to the jail.
All right, you're going to be able to avoid foot traffic on the pixie stick, so you're definitely going to beat him there by probably, like, at his speed, probably about a minute.
Asmo just thinks to himself in his mind when she's getting away faster. He's like, thank God I've told Earth as often to be like, if she ever comes in and tries to control things, she doesn't, but we are polite informing her of that.
Sure enough, Nara, as you get to the jail, Earth is just standing there just holding his hand up. Earth.
Wait, before we get to that, have I seen the inside of the jail and how it would get me to this guy? Like,
you don't
is
know.
he magically sealed in, or is he like normal? Is it like a normal cell because he's a normal dude?
He'd be in a normal cell. He's a mundane guy as far as anybody else has found. But yeah, at the front of the jailhouse, at the like in the constabulary, like in front of the holding cells, you just like this massive 7-foot tall wall of meat is standing in front of you, just holding a hand out.
Oh, Nick, you think that she's gonna go in the front door as herself?
Oh God.
Fair. All right. So as you get to the constabulary, what do
when
you
we
do?
get close enough, because he is in a normal person cell. When she gets close enough to the jail cell, she's gonna polymorph into a rat. She's gonna sneak into the jail.
What?
Okay. Are you going to go in through the front?
However, looks the most convenient to sneak in.
Probably one of the windows at the side through one
Sure.
of these cells. All right, you crawl in through the window. Let's see. Hold on. Finding the right sounds for this. First of all, you're back in the city, so...
Bright lights.
Outside, you can still hear the humming and drumming of people wandering by.
The low hum a city gives you, you know?
The low hum of a city.
Minus the car in the background all the time.
And then, how's this one? A little too much condensation on that one.
I don't even hear it. There it is.
That's probably the right amount of condensation. Yeah, you crawl in through one of the windows. It's a level 4 spell, so you do feel kind of like a little buzz about you as you do. You can see
buzz.
You feel as though something is trying to take you out of your shape.
Oh,
as you
okay.
climb through the threshold of the prison.
Okay.
But you're able to maintain
Exciting. I bet.
In the cell that you find yourself in, there appears to be a man just kind of sleeping in a cot. Go ahead and give me... oh, you probably wouldn't have the stat block for a rat, would you?
Rat D&D.
I can grab it for you real quick.
Okay. I think I have it.
Okay.
What do you need?
I need a stealth check for a rat, which should just be, I guess, a straight D20 roll, because they have 0 dex.
Okay.
But it will be at advantage.
Oh, it's a 1.
Give it
Oh,
with
I have to do it
advantage.
twice.
Yeah, give it with advantage because you're tiny.
Great. Oh, wait. Why didn't that happen? Right. Okay. 12.
Man.
The man in the cot, who just seems to be, like, absent-mindedly throwing a stone against a wall and catching it as it returns, doesn't seem to notice you.
Great. She'll go around until she figures out which one might be Hans.
All right. From your new perspective, I don't think you've ever met the man, so you wouldn't be able to track him by smell. You only really know what he looks like from the picture.
Right. But she's good with faces.
Yeah. Luckily, I think in polymorph, does she... No, in polymorph, you take this, like, all of the stats of the animal that you become.
Yeah.
So give me a... this would be another d20 with advantage, I think, as you're kind of crawling around the prison floors, looking between the cells, trying to find the person you're looking for.
That'd be a 19 and a 2.
19's going to be good enough for you to find the man in
And I know that this is taking extra time, but Nara also got on Pixie Stick and flew real far real fast, so I'm like trying to time how long she has before Asmo gets there.
Honestly,
I have a minute.
Yeah, honestly, Asmo would probably get there as you spotted him.
Asmo just opens the door. Nara!
Yeah. You
Well,
see,
he won't know that she's a rat, though.
Yeah, you meet Urf at the front of the jail, Asmo. Urf. He waves at you.
What? Asmo turns back. 1 second. Asmo closes the door because he thinks he missed her.
Asmo goes back into the city looking for Nara.
The frick
Oh
is
my
she?
god!
Meanwhile, Nara, you have found Hans Bergen. He is currently carving a tally into a wall with a sharpened piece of stone. Seems to be he's on his 6th tally, so it's however many days it appears he's been in prison. Appears to be what he's counting. There is a mostly empty tray of food sitting on the floor of the cell. Still some scraps of what appear to be like crumbs of bread and a few splashes of whatever stew or slop they had provided them.
And tell me, for Veil of Faces, does that only work for humanoid creatures, or can it also be like...
It's humanoid. Specifically humanoids that you've killed, yeah.
Okay, so same size shape.
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay.
They can be, like, smaller, like gnomes or halflings and things like that. They just have to be humanoid.
Okay. And he's against the wall. I'm assuming his cot is, like, behind him?
He's yeah, kind of on his bunk, just carving into the wall right now.
Top bunk, bottom bunk?
It's just one cot sticking onto the wall.
Oh, okay. Nara will shift back underneath his cot. I'm sure he will hear something.
You shift back as in turn back into your normal form?
Yeah.
He would more than hear something. He would feel as his bed slowly kind of like rises, because it's not really meant to hide a person under.
Oh, then she would, then she'd just pick another wall to, like, sit up against. But, in a spot where he would not immediately be looking.
Then give me stealth with disadvantage.
Yeah, and she's also going to be trying to get into a place that, well, yeah, whatever. Stealth with disadvantage, sure. Oh my god, nat 1.
Oh, Asmo is back, by the way. He walks back through the front door. I was trying to say that, but I want to say that now because of everything going on.
All right. The movement out of the corner of his eye immediately, makes him turn. And then he sees your form His eyes widen for a moment and then narrow.
Right there.
If you're here to kill me, get it over with.
No. Why are you in here, anyway?
They thought I killed someone. Or,
Did you?
from the sound of it, multiple someones.
And? Did you?
The ones in question, no. I only kill monsters.
Uh-oh. What do you consider as a monster?
Do you just want me to say you so you can kill me with a smile on your face?
No. I already know you think I am one, and that's fine. Do your monsters have a name?
They have a lot of names.
Recently?
I don't tend to learn all of them.
Tight-lipped about it. You know you're in trouble.
If you're not here to kill me, then what are you here for?
I mean, my pet needs a snack, so I wouldn't kill you. People like you just make me curious.
He sits up and faces you on, like, you know, kind of knees bent over the edge of his cot.
Curious about what?
Why do you think I'm a monster? You're the one in jail.
And does being in jail make me a monster?
I don't know. Is that not the point of society? Deciding who's the monster and who's not? You seem to be in the wrong here.
No. That's the job of power. Power decide what's a monster and what isn't. Power decides what's right and what's wrong.
Asmo's heading now to check the jail cells real quick. He's going to be there in a second.
Yeah, you're walking through the jail cells with Urf, heading straight to Bergen. He's kind of near the middle of the cells, so he'll be there in a
She
bit.
was going fast. Like, I thought she would come in here, so I did. Door not open? Seriously?
Urf, he shrugs.
And why are you fighting for this?
Sorry, what were you saying?
For Hans.
Well, no. I missed the first part of what you asked.
Ah, sorry.
So why are you fighting so hard to kill what in my mind are not monsters, making yourself a monster in my eyes?
What answer would satisfy you?
I'm not looking to be satisfied. I truly wonder what you think, and why and how.
Maybe it's revenge. Maybe it's a sense of duty. Maybe it's because nobody else will.
Revenge for what? What did I do to you?
It's not about what you did. Or maybe it is. I don't know what you've done. But you have the look of somebody who's taken a lot of life.
Yeah, so do you. It's almost like you're looking in a mirror.
Then tell me, what makes your killings justified?
They weren't.
Then why are you on the other side of the bars?
Because I acknowledged how I was wrong.
So if I acknowledge that I'm wrong, all of a sudden I get to live in the world again. Free
Maybe.
from the fear of this cell. But I wouldn't be free from the fear of you and people like you.
You think I don't face the same thing with you?
Some tells me if you were afraid of me, you wouldn't be here, so no.
You know, it's funny. You think of yourself as weak in comparison. But you already know that a lot of other people think like you. You want to stamp us out? Like bugs. In time, people change their minds about things. Surely you'll have enough. And then you're the monsters we're running from. The only way there aren't monsters anymore is if we accept each other for who we are. What we are.
It's easy to say when you can just will things into being even without trying. In my world, it's better to be a boot than a rat.
At this point, Asmo, you
I was about to say,
you see
I
Nara.
was waiting for the right thing to
cell
jump
with
in
him.
on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Being a rat, she was able to sneak in here without my great guard catching it. But then again,
Earth just kind of shrugs. Earth.
I know. As was almost dismissive. Like, I get it's hard to catch her when she's trying not to be caught. I see. You've been having a conversation with somebody, Bergen. You doing okay, or do you need me to come in and help you?
Nara puts a hand up.
Yes, Nara? Yes.
I want to keep talking to him, if that's fine.
I don't know. Would you like to talk to her? Or would you like to talk to me again?
Asmo says through
I'll gladly talk to you as soon as you open this door and let me the hell out of here. I heard that you found the guy responsible. Some fire-blooded freak, from what I hear. Went all crazy.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. That's true. But currently we're still in the middle of dealing with that. And I have some more questions for you in the future. And our wonderful Nara here had some questions of her own that she just couldn't hold back her excitement from asking you. So.
She looks up at him and smiles.
You were gonna use the room that he sounded like he was uncomfortable to be in, and he probably wouldn't want to talk to me anyway, so the only way I could have talked to him is if I just came in anyway.
That's fair. Don't you worry about being let out. You're being taken care of nice and safe for right now, but it's not forever.
Oh, I feel very safe knowing anyone could just walk into my cell.
He says, looking back to Nara.
Oh, you think she's just anyone? That's another massive mistake.
Asmo just smiles.
Earth will stay nearby while you ask your questions.
Earth looks at you. Earth?
Just stay nearby.
He holds up his hands. Earth. Just like stands there with his back to the cell.
Okay. Have you excuse me? I need to go talk to somebody out at the farm. Where you work, actually. Got some follow-up questions for one of your coworkers.
Oh yeah, lots of information came out about all that. I don't think he'll actually be going anywhere anytime soon.
Lucky me.
As Asmo leaves.
So it looks like you get to extend this little conversation of yours. Good to know that this place has process for this sort of thing.
He says like loudly to Urf and to Asmo as you're leaving.
That's just a sobriety talking!
Asmo says as he leaves the building.
Listen, I wasn't raised in a place like this. Taken a lot of work for me to respect certain boundaries of things.
I've only ever seen one of your kind before.
Oh,
It was
what were they
rough.
like?
Quiet, shifty. Not too long after, a plague entered the town. A lot of dead people.
Was it a he? Was he kind of floaty? Calm? Annoyingly so?
Dunno, just had that long white hair and... I think it was a guy. But with your
Why?
kind, it's hard to tell.
Do I know this person?
He just described half Drow. He just described half of Drow.
Okay.
Do you think they caused the plague?
I told the innkeeper where I was staying what I saw. He said your people are like an omen of death, so...
He shrugs.
You tell me.
I mean, to be fair, we're not really an omen of death. More like... like me. I have a very direct connection to the Mother Death.
All I know is what that innkeeper said is... wherever one of you is seen, death will follow.
Not every time.
Seems to be the case up north anyway.
I suppose. So when did you get so mad that you started killing magic people?
He looks kind of like frustrated, like he's...
What do you want, my biography?
I mean, sure, we got time.
I have my reasons. A freak like
She's-
the one that killed those kids out there took my family from me. Took a lot of people's families.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm not exactly keen on raising them to be stronger.
That's like saying... no. That is a thing that makes people mad.
She's genuinely thinking really hard right now. If he's watching her, he can tell she is struggling to find compassionate words to say to him. Not for a... How do I word this? She's trying to speak with compassion because she does not want to upset him. But not in a malicious way.
How long ago did you lose them?
Eight years.
What happened 8 years ago?
Oh,
okay.
Lots
I
of
will let him tell the
things.
story.
My little girl, she'd be a young woman now. But she never got that chance. Because a freak got mad and blew up half the goddamn city square where her and her mother were shopping.
Blew it up.
Some screeching little preteen just her mother couldn't take it. The loss drove her to take her own life. And so I want to make sure that that doesn't happen to anyone else.
So your plan is to just kill everyone that has magic? Right?
That was my plan, yeah.
Oh, Hans.
She actually closes her eyes, like, so frustrated, but also searching hard to understand that frustration on his end.
Nara is trying to strengthen the muscle of empathy.
Yeah, really hard. Like, it is truly a chore.
I don't know why you wouldn't want there to just be more protections in place. More effort to communicate. So that it doesn't happen. Surely, you understand that when you threaten a group of people, they will feel cornered, and they will only retaliate with more violence.
When was the last time you were up north, little missy?
Wasn't that long ago. When were you?
I haven't been down this way until recently. Do you know what that power's done to them up there? What they're becoming? What they are? What they're doing to people like me?
What are they doing?
They're rounding us up. They got camps. Never hear from people ever again. The lucky ones escaped. Like me. It's only a matter of time before they start doing it down here too. Before they start rising up and using their power to put the boot on all of us normal people's necks. Because I see it. You think they're afraid of me. Good. Because the ones that aren't afraid of me scare the shit out of me. And I'm not the only one that knows that.
You know, Hans, giving as much information about what's happening in the north would be very helpful so that we can stop it.
He looks at you and he just kind of chuckles.
Then stop it.
Remember that thing I said about communication?
I told you what I know. I ain't seen the camps. I ain't seen what they're doing to the people. I just know that people like me go missing up there. If they're not able to get down here.
So let me get this straight. You escaped the north to get away from magic users abusing their power, becoming something terrible, and you've come to the other side. You've come here to kill the magic users who haven't done that. Is that right?
I heard tell this city was more in line with my ways of thinking.
From who?
People up north. Some guy named Kench was down here. He knew how to deal with them. I guess my information was dated.
Nara's expression goes a little flat.
Yeah. Kench has been gone for a while now.
So I learned.
Is this the only place that thought like that?
Doesn't matter now, does it?
Does to me. Kind of prefer not to go into a town and get murdered.
Some tells me you welcome the attempt.
Only in some instances. I've been hated by enough people not doing anything.
She scooches forward as if, like, they're gonna share a secret together.
He doesn't
What did
move.
Asmo even... I know. What did Asmo even want to know? Or Captain whatever. Asmo.
Asno sneezes.
He just kept asking questions about those kids at the farm. Something I knew nothing about.
Have you killed people in this area, though?
Not in this city.
Just on the way down.
Only when I'm sure
You're sure of what?
that they're a monster.
What does that classify as?
He looks at you with like a, you know what he fucking means, stare.
I'm still learning facial expressions. What do you mean?
Fireblood, the innate. Time bombs. Sorcerers.
Like me, right? Like if you saw me and I was all alone, walking down a path, you just bash my head in.
He looks you over.
You're above my pay grade.
Pay grade? What? You get paid to murder people?
No,
Oh.
but attacking you would be fruitless.
So you go for the weak and defenseless.
I go for the ones that haven't yet bloomed.
Okay.
So you
Alright.
prevent the opportunity for them to get help, to not explode.
To not become what will destroy everything.
You're so funny to me.
He shakes his head.
You know that you can just get imbued with things, right? Like, magic's not going anywhere. It won't. You murdering a few children is really just kind of a futile effort based on your emotional reactions to your past. You're just murdering kids. You're really not accomplishing anything. There's always going to be more.
One less freak in the world.
Ah, Lord. Arcanos, save this man. Oh.
So basic.
Just wait.
Huh?
It'll happen here too. You won't be able to escape it.
Oh. Oh, I knew you'd say something like that.
He looks almost sorrowful.
You know what's funny? I killed a lot of people in the past, and I mean a lot. It was my job. I was raised that way. No one was there to guide me to be anything else. I've done horrible things. But now I protect people like you. If I was a monster, I wouldn't have sat here with you and tried to understand who you are. You would have been dead before Asmo got here. And I would have eaten what was left.
He looks back at you.
Then you'd only
If you don't
prove
give
me
anyone...
right.
If you don't give anyone the opportunity to change, you're just the monster. And nothing you say or do can justify murdering all those kids. You keep on going. You're just gonna be a child murderer. A monster. That's all. I hope you change. I do. I'd like to think I could keep you safe. Protect you from the monsters. I don't know if you'd give me the chance, though.
Give me a
I feel
persuasion.
like we'd agree.
Give me a persuasion check.
25.
Oh, nice. So, nice.
He doesn't seem to give you any real acknowledgement at this point, though you can tell your words have reached him somehow. What effect they have is yet to be seen.
Hans, I have to go. Believe it or not, I help run this city. Try and keep people safe.
And see that you do. Because whatever's coming, it's going to come hard and it's going to come fast.
And I'll be there as a shield. Take care, Hans.
He lays back in the bed and faces the wall.
She, without giving Earth the chance, polymorphs into a sparrow and flies out.
Earth hears the fluttering, turns around. Walks back down the hallway and goes to finish his sandwich. And here's where we'll end today's session.